This is episode number 22 of DevOpsParadox with Darin Pope and Viktor Farcic. I am Darin.
And I am Viktor.
Today we are going to talk about motivation. Now, you received a question about motivation. Why don't you talk about it a little bit more, Viktor?
Yes, so the question comes from Neven. He asks, motivation, what motivates you to learn, to work, write books, and whatever else you might or might not be doing? So, are you motivated, Darin? Are you now
I am
full of motivation?
I am full of motivation. Great episode. Let's, no. Most days I'm motivated. Some days not so much. But most days. What's the base of motivation for you?
Learning and the desire not to be hungry.
Not to
be able
hungry.
to pay my bills. Fear. What would happen if my company fires me? Will I find another job if all I know is DB2?
Well, DB2, probably you could for DB2.
Yeah, because everybody else who knows DB2 is dead. Retired. Maybe not dead, retired. So, okay, but
in effect, the same thing. And we joke about that, but there's good money to be made if you have that skill set.
Yeah, but there is, I think it was Groucho Marx who said I would never join a club who would have me as a member. So I would never really join a company who is looking for a DB2 expert.
Well, unless you were maybe, 75? It's like, I want something to do for the next couple of days.
Yeah, that will be my legacy to the world will be that.
You're the greatest DB2 administrator ever. And we're picking on DB2 because we can. But I guess we could say that about any database.
Yeah. I mean, not any database, but database.
Well, 20 years from now, but 20 years from now, that will be that Mongo will be the new DB2 in 20 years.
Oh, yeah, no, not 20. I mean, so this is a message to you, dear listener. Whatever you're learning right now, 5 years from now, maximum will be obsolete.
Are you saying Kubernetes is going to be obsolete in 5 years?
Of course it will. Something new will come. And then we'll have another podcast saying, imagine those people using Kubernetes. What are they thinking? Why the heck are they doing that?
It'll all be mainframe again. Okay, so we're already off the track here. Motivation. You mentioned it in passing there. Fear.
Yeah, so I want my skill set to be valuable on the market. And now what valuable means, I guess, differs from one person to another. To me, it's not only about money. So it is about money. Of course, I want to provide for my family. I want to have a nice home. I want to go on vacations and what's not. So whomever says money doesn't matter, he's lying. It matters. Now, how much it matters, that's a different question. But to me, it's not, I need my skill set to be up to date, not only because of money, but because I want to be able to demand where I'm going to work instead of accepting any offer. So I don't want to work for just any company. I want to work for a company I want to work for. And to do that, I need to learn. I need to be, and I cannot learn without being motivated to learn.
So what's the mentality to help drive that motivation? I mean, we already said it's fear, but how do you motivate yourself working within a company structure?
Fear is it's never enough. So you cannot, if you wake up in the morning and say, oh, I'm so afraid for my future and I hate doing what I'm doing, you're not going to be motivated to do anything, no matter how afraid you are. I think it must be, I believe that everybody is motivated doing things when they like doing what they're doing. So and I'm pretty sure that 99% of us are in this industry because we like doing something related with computers. The real question is whether can we find that something, or are we forced only to do something we don't like? So it's all about finding what you like doing. And then, and this is now important part, figuring out what you like doing so that you wake up in the morning and say, I want to do that, and figuring out how that benefits your company. And that's the tricky part. How can I convert my hobby into something beneficial for the company I work for so that they give me money for that? If you manage to do that, I don't believe that there would be a person who is not motivated.
Yeah, because at that point, you're almost playing like a freelancer within your company.
Oh, it's even better than a freelancer, because freelancer very often needs to, I believe that there is probably a bigger percentage of doing things we really dislike when we are freelancers than not. Because, if you don't do it, you don't get money, period. If I'm a freelancer, I cannot say, well, you wanna pay me money to do something for you? You say yes. What do you need me to do? And you say something really horrible, something silly. And I'm not gonna say no unless I have other people queuing to work with me. So if you're a freelancer, you really need to have a much bigger demand than what you can do, so that you can pick things you want to do, or things you think are useful and what's not. And getting much more offers than what you can do is very hard when you're a freelancer.
That's true. But let's play it a little bit more here. Is the motivation to think like a freelancer?
Oh yeah.
Because we could all be canned tomorrow.
Yes, we can. So it's, I'm not sure whether it's motivation to think like a freelancer, but it is definitely motivation to be in a position where you have choices. Right? If that's a freelancer, I can accept or reject your offer to work. Or if I'm working for a company, I can accept or reject the company depending on whether I want to work with them or not. And so it's about choices, and when you do have choices, then you can make the right ones, and that's very, very pleasant. Saying, you know what, I'm gonna work with those guys and not with the others.
Well, so that's a motivator.
Definitely.
Right? Choice is a motivator.
Yeah.
Because we could go work at big company X and everything is given to us in Jira tickets, and the only thing we ever do is Jira tickets.
Yeah. Without probably even knowing why do we do that in the first place.
Why we're doing it. Right. But if we flip it around, it's like, okay, why am I getting these Jira tickets? And understanding, and then realizing, oh wait, there's a whole new thing that could eliminate the Jira tickets.
Yeah.
Automation kicks in, whatever the case may be, to where we've now made the company more value. That's a motivator to me. No matter which company I work, whether I'm working for it or they're a client of my company, my motivation is to get them to be able to go home on nights and weekends.
Yeah. For example,
it's altruistic, yeah, but I like, whether I get to or not, it's a whole nother thing. But I want to make sure other people get to do it.
Yeah, that will differ from one person to another, I guess. But it really depends. You might even say that it depends whether company is truly interested in getting the best out of people, and if they are, then kind of you must let people choose what they're good at, and they're good only at with the things that they like doing.
Is there danger in that?
There is a danger. It depends how well you are filtering people who can join the company, right? Not everybody is fit for that type of organization. And it might easily not work when you're huge. Because how do you really, if you have 10,000 employees, how many managers you need to have in order to make sure that people are productive while yet and choosing what they're doing?
Probably 9,000.
Exactly.
Did I say that out loud? I think I did.
No, I think for 10,000 people with 6,000 managers, you would be fine.
That's still a scary thought. But the danger in letting people choose what they want to do is, aren't you allowing people to maybe go against what company culture needs to be or wants to be?
But that's the real question. Yes, I mean, depends what is the company culture. It's in our industry. It's kind of, there is manual labor is deprecated. It's gone, right? It's all about being creative. That's why I'm very skeptical about companies with thousands of employees. Kind of, you're obviously not looking for quality, because 100 people can do amazing job. So you can easily say that I think I see a clear difference between companies that started like a tech companies and companies that were converted into tech companies. Those that started did not have any baggage to deal with, while those that were converted into tech companies are still trying to figure out how to change their culture, how to stop being a factory and then be whatever technology is.
Okay, we've gone way off the rails.
I don't even remember the subject anymore.
Motivation.
Motivation. Yes, I'm motivated. I mean,
go ahead.
Being able to afford things I need and being able to do that while enjoying what I'm doing is the motivation.
Specifically, what motivates you to write? Okay, so let me ask this question because I actually haven't done the math. How many books have you written?
Okay, give me a second. I need to do a calculation.
We have
9,
all the time
I
in the
think.
world.
Yes, it should be 9.
Okay, 9.
Yes, 9 years, 9 books.
And 9 years, 9 books.
Yes, give or take.
Okay. So a book a year, if I'm doing the math.
More or less. I think that this year is the only exception that I'm publishing 2 books in a year, but that's because one did not require much effort.
Right. So one every 12 to 18 months.
Yes.
That's pretty massive.
Yeah.
And your books aren't small.
Over 400 pages each.
Like I said, they're not small. So why do you want to create something that could hurt your cat when you drop it?
To begin with, I never planned to have a book that is over 150 to 100 pages. It just happens. And it just happens because I don't plan things. I simply I like the idea that, every year I dedicate to something, to some technology, some process, something, or a group of stuff. And then I need to have a very good excuse for that. Why would I dedicate now a whole year to, I don't know, service mesh? So you need to figure, it might be similar to, when you're starting to learn programming, and doesn't matter whether you start reading a book or you go to video stuff, you always need a pet project. You need a project where you're going to apply what you're learning so that you truly learn, right? Mm-hmm. And for me, that pet project, call it, is a book.
Well, the output of that pet project is a book.
Yes.
It's your notes.
No, but you need to have some kind of objective. So let's say I'm going to learn how I'm going to program in Go, right? The first step you need to do, or maybe the second, is, okay, let me think of a project. I'm going to create an application that will do X, Y, Z, right? You might even throw it to trash at the end. And for me, that thing is a book, kind of, that in a way forces me to not give up easily, or not to stop when I think what books help me is to pass that 20%, the 80-20 rule, that in 20% of the time you can learn or do 80% of the work and vice versa. Those last 20% are very hard, unless you have a really good reason to go through them. So I usually start the book by knowing those 80%, but 20% is a tricky part, and it's really demotivating going through those details unless you have something tangible as output.
And for you, it's a book.
That's a book. I mean, it's a combination, to be honest, because it's a book, maybe some videos, maybe some posts, and very often I try to convince customers I work with to use it and things like that. So it's a combination of the things, but the visible output for most of the people is the book.
What about motivation at work?
Look at my work. You cannot see me. We're not recording this. I have two cats around
videos.
Me, and my daughter is with my neighbor right now, and my girlfriend is at work. I'm pretty motivated. I'm alone at my apartment, and I actually got dressed only because I don't want Darin to see me naked. It's nice to work from home.
That's a good thing. It's a nice thing to work from home. That is actually a motivation.
Yeah.
Right? I enjoy... And the very few times that I'm also at home while we're recording this, which it's rare for both of us to be at our places that we pay rent or mortgage on. We're usually not here.
Yeah.
So we enjoy it. And yes, I'm wearing pants too. But for a completely different reason. Boy, that sounded really strange. That's okay. My motivations are similar. Fear, providing for my family. Well, providing for my family, which at the bottom of that is fear. I wish I could get to the point where I feel like I could write a book. I know I could. It's just I choose not to. I produce podcasts. I do other things, right? It's the other side of content. I like marketing just enough to get it started, but I don't really want to do the deep stuff. I like to think I want to, but let's get real. I've got 1, 2, 3. I've got 3 breadboarded projects I'm looking across my office at right now. It's like, why don't I just finish those? What was my motivation at the time? I lost it.
Maybe you had too many. Maybe one would be better.
Maybe I had too many. Yeah. I should focus and just get one done. But really, I'm going to throw travel under the bus for a minute. It's like when you can't take everything with you when you're on the road, that makes it hard to sometimes stay focused. Whereas writing, you can take it with you anywhere.
Yeah.
Is that true? Is that true for you or no?
Yeah. No, so everything I do in any form of ways ends up in a laptop.
No, wait a minute. What were we talking about? So, in case it sounds really weird and we're laughing, Viktor had a delivery come in while we were recording this, and I was trying to be funny. But he actually, so let's talk about what's in that box behind you right now.
It's LED lights for recording videos.
So, for recording videos. LED lights, just in case you're in the US, LED.
LED, okay. LED, there you go.
Yeah, that's fine. This is another motivation, right? Now, we were just talking about how everything can live on the laptop for you.
Yes.
You're not going to be able to throw those lights in your backpack.
Yeah, but there is...
And go trotting across the world.
But there is always... there are different tasks to be done, whatever you're doing, right? And I'm thinking about going away from books. I'm getting bored with it and start recording videos. Maybe I will drop it after a month. We'll see. Anyways, there is editing part. There is screen recording. There is a bunch of things that needs to be done and combined. And I think that recording of my face is only a fraction of that effort.
Let me tell you, as somebody that's done that, it's definitely a lot more than that. You're getting ready to go on a journey that, now we haven't talked about this up till now. So you and I need to talk offline about the oh crap moments you're getting ready to have.
Yeah.
So maybe I can short circuit some of those for you.
Oh, you're really motivating me to do this now.
You'll want to know a few of the tricks. That's all I'll say. Makeup won't help. Actually, it could, I guess, for you. I know it does for me. That's a whole nother conversation. Let's not go there today. But this is motivation for you right now, right? Because right now, this is a twist on your motivation. Your motivation has been to write books, to learn. That's been your primary, and it's just your output, right? The book was your nice notes, for lack of a better phrase. Now, you're wanting to go a step further. Right? You've done 9 books now.
It's not that much about step further, at least from my point of view. It's more about being in a position where you can say, not for everything you do in your life, but for part of your activities, to wake up in the morning and say, I feel like recording videos now.
Yep.
And then maybe tomorrow or next year, I might wake up and say, no, now I feel like, I don't know, like gardening. Okay, it's a stupid example, but being able to come up with things that are interesting for you, the things you do want to do, and that somehow is beneficial enough to pay your bills.
Right.
So that you can continue eating.
Right. And it goes back to what we were saying earlier. You could be let go from your job at any time.
Yeah, I mean, most of us can, right?
Most of us could, yeah. So how do you manage that? It's not so much that you're preparing with one foot out the door all the time, because then you're not putting in 100% for your current employer, but it's a good thing to be thinking about.
Yeah,
this is part of the career thing again, right?
In my case, which is very specific, first of all, I have some ridiculously low, but I have some income outside of the company, right? On which I can survive. Not go to vacations to Bahamas every 3 months and stuff like that, but I can live, right? So I can be without a job. Maybe not indefinitely, but for a while. And second thing is that I'm hoping that I'm building skill set that would allow me to go to a different company and say, I want to work with you. And I think that might be I'm exaggerating a bit now, but that might be the main goal, to be able to go to a company and say, I want to work with you, instead of the other way around, kind of waiting who would want to employ me.
Right. You bring in, it's like, hey, I would like to work with you. Here are the skill sets that I bring.
Yeah.
I'm not just a DB2 administrator, although I'm that as well.
I was.
But then I can also do, okay, we know that DB2 is a dying skill. I can help train people to make sure that we know you're not going to move off DB2 anytime soon. So let's make sure we can get you as a company moving forward in that.
Yes.
Right. It's a weird example, but
exactly.
I think legitimate.
And simply
because when you can bring, well, and here's the scary thing. All of this is around producing content. How many people actually produce content as part of their job that isn't in marketing?
Exactly. And to me, that's very rewarding. I don't remember who said that. I'm pretty sure that I did not invent what I'm going to say, but now for quite some years, sometimes people ask me, kind of, don't you feel almost useless that you're not coding 8 hours a day? And I feel quite the opposite. Being able to kind of, I feel more like, how do you call that in an orchestra? The conductor, right?
Yeah.
More like a conductor, right? People do and produce things based on my help. So I feel that I'm more productive now than I ever was, even though I'm actually producing less than I ever did. Producing in terms of lines of code. Or
instead of you being locked in a back room and doing the one thing, instead of doing that, by writing everything down via a book at this point and having tens, you have more readers than that.
Yeah, more.
But let's hundreds of people that read your book that are able to apply it to their day job. Your impact is much higher.
Yes. Much higher than I could ever make as simply just writing code. Definitely.
Yep. And that's a motivator.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's something to be proud of. Maybe not prideful, but very proud of. Not look at me.
I don't think that outside of stories about my daughter, I don't think that there is anything better I can hear than when somebody contacts me or approaches me or something like that, says, "Oh man, we just implemented what's written here and there in our company." Kind of, isn't that beautiful?
And it saved us 3 weeks of work.
Yeah.
Right? And that's when you say, "Hey, give me some pizza," or buy 10 more copies of the book.
Yeah.
And pass it out to your friends.
Oh, it happened sometimes also that kind of we did what you said and it ended up as a disaster.
It didn't work. Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah,
but at least you managed to get to the disaster part faster than if you spent months trying to get there.
Instead of a slow burn to a disaster, you just go ahead and it was just gone. You nuked it. That's fine too. RM-RF/ solves all problems.
Exactly.
It solves data problems. It solves your job problems. It works wonderfully. Anybody that's still on Windows, I'm sorry, but just think of it as you nuked everything. And we start talking about the books. So we're sort of here at time too. Wow, boy, this went fast. DevOpsParadox is out now, newly-ish out.
Yes. Yes.
If you haven't bought a copy of it yet, go buy a copy. Buy 10.
Expense 10.
Or
expense
10. Yeah, let the manager buy it. It'll be well worth it. Go ahead and order it from Amazon. We've got links to the book down below. Toolkit is out for Jenkins X.
Yes, it's coming to Amazon before this episode is released. It will be in Amazon.
Okay. So that one, buy from Amazon. Buy it from LeanPub. Buy it wherever you want to buy it.
Now look, if you don't want to buy it, if you cannot afford it, or whatever, just send me an email. I'll send you a copy. It's a promise. Whomever cannot afford the book, I'll send a copy. It's not a money making machine. Trust me.
Viktor's email is down below as well. He can send them. I can't. We're not going to talk about any new books because there are no new books yet. You're still, well, as we've mentioned before, there's probably another 50 or 60 new features that are already in Jenkins X.
Yes. I'm pretty sure that the book will be in constant update mode for at least half a year. The project is just crazy.
So we're just in case you're listening to this much later, the release date for this episode is, what was the release date for this? September 25th. So, in that, just know that it's got to be. I mean, man, it seems like there was a little dip recently in releases of Jenkins X, but it's come back with a massive force right now.
Yes,
I'm seeing like 5 to 10 a day.
Something like that. And then the worst thing is that that's a normal number. That's an average number. I calculated a while ago. I think that on average throughout year and a half, 6 or 7 a day.
Oh, I figured out why. Because I think the reason why it slowed down a little bit, it was during August. And everybody was on vacation. Was it 2 weeks about? There was 2 weeks where it was only like 1 or 2 a day.
Yeah.
It felt like.
That's part of the reason. Second part is that the team is working on making a distribution which should have kind of slower release rate.
Yeah. So now they're back up to speed. Now that they've got that groove down-ish. Okay. Cool. So if you have any questions or comments about this episode, you can reach out to us on the Slack team DevOps20. That's DevOps, the number 2 and the number 0. You can sign up for a free account, join the podcast channel, ask us questions over there. If you do want to ask a question using your voice, you can leave us a voice message using Voxer. Once you set up a free personal account at Voxer, you can add DevOpsParadox, all one word, as a contact and leave us a message. If you are listening, now we've never done this before. This is the first episode that we're doing this. If you're listening to us via Apple Podcast or whatever place you're listening at through, whether it's Stitcher or whatever it is, we see different analytics, and right now Apple Podcast is the highest one. Please consider leaving us a rating and review. We do this for free. We don't get paid to do this. This is coming out of our pockets, so it's all good. But it's nice to see what people like, dislike. If you don't like it, tell us. If you like it, tell us. I mean, we can't bump reviews. We like good reviews. We like being told that we're the greatest thing ever. But actually, dark chocolate is the greatest thing ever.
Actually, if I may add something, if there is a bad, I prefer getting bad kind of reviews than good ones, because that helps improve. Saying you're awesome does not really help you be more awesome.
No, you can give us a 5-star.
Oh yes, please do.
Give us a sucky review. Yeah, give us a 5-star rating, but give us a really sucky review. That would be okay.
Exactly.
Just be honest with your rating and review. We appreciate that. There are links to the Slack workspace, the Voxer account, and also how to leave a review if you've not done a review before with Apple. It'll be in the description of this episode. Any final comments about motivation?
The more...
Are we motivated to close this episode?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, to me, the summary is the more you can do the things you like, the more motivated you are to do them. As simple as that.
Don't live out of fear. Don't let fear be your primary motivator, but it's probably an underlying, whether you want to say it is or not.
Yeah.
Okay. That's enough warm fuzzies for today. All right. Thanks again for listening to episode number 22 of DevOps Paradox.